We went out and kind of looked at some of the numbers that you might not think of as a Steinbach Piston fan. One of those was wins, and this is every Steinbach Piston fan's looking at wins overall. And we looked at the wins last year compared to this year, so if you're only going about 10 games, you might be asking the question, have the Pistons got better? And most certainly they have got better. They won 19 games this year compared to last year's 13 games. And a big note is this franchise hasn't done that since 2002-2003, so it's been a long time since this team has ever won 20 games, and we just about got there. We're so close this year.
And a lot of people doubted that they would even get as high as they got. Like, people were saying they might win, 10, maybe 13 games at the most, and they impressed everybody.
Well, when we talk to many broadcasters, we always try to get their opinion as we go out to different facilities, and many people didn't really respect us too much. They didn't think that we would get as high as we did. There's one guy that thought maybe 17, and there were a few people that just wouldn't even talk to us when we'd ask them because they didn't even think we were that much of a team. But overall, I don't know. What do you think, Miles?
Oh, yeah, and I think that's one of the things is it's a new team, and you got to earn your respect, and that's something that I think that we understand. But obviously, we have a lot more faith in our team than a lot of other people do, and maybe that's the thing is we still have a young team. Maybe people are scared of us. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yep. They're scared of the growth because if we're already at 19, second season in here in Steinbach, I can just imagine what they're going to do over the next couple of seasons.
Exactly.
We'll talk more about the Steinbach Pistons by the numbers in just a bit. Here's the Clash. Should I stay? Should I go on mix? Kevin Geisheimer and Miles Smith, the voice of the Steinbach Pistons, with us. And we're talking Steinbach Pistons by the numbers. Some pretty impressive numbers in the story on SteinbachOnline.com. Miles, what's one of the numbers that really stands out for you?
The average age of this year's team was 18.35. Now, it seems kind of old considering they have no 20-year-olds, but that is actually the second youngest in the team. There's only one team that's lower. That's the Winnipeg Blues. They're exactly 18.3. So they're pretty young in comparison to other teams in the league. The oldest teams are over 19 years of age. And so that's one of the things the coaching staff has said this year, and it's been the mantra of the team. It's a young team, and they traded away all their 20-year-old players this year. So going ahead to next year, they got a good chance of doing better things. Because if you look at the numbers, all the teams that have a very low average age didn't do very well. All the teams with high average age was very close to winning their division. So
every time they're hitting the ice, just about every time they're hitting the ice, they're meeting players that are at least a year older than them. And at this age, a year is a huge difference.
Well, yeah, if you're dealing with such a small age group, 16 to 20, like that, 1 year is huge. I mean, this isn't professional sports where you can be 18 to 40 something. Like, this is
by the time you're 20, you forget what it was like to be 16.
Oh, and you notice it really when we played against OCN, they had two defensemen that were like 6'5". Our tallest guy's like 6'1", 6'2", and when those guys would skate over the blue line into the corner, they kind of just move everybody out of the way. Okay, I want you, and you are done.
And they move in.
Yeah, you could totally tell when you're playing as 20-year-olds, and it was a disadvantage many times throughout the season, but our guys played tough. It was great to see.
Pistons by the numbers. And Kevin, what is give me another number that really stands out to you from this story?
Average attendance, Corny. The attendance was fantastic this past year for a team that was, well, the bottom of the league. We rose our attendance by more than 100 people. It was around 510. And when we go to other places in the league, Miles and I, the atmosphere has been one of the best at the TG Smith Center. Talking to other fans, they say they really love to come to watch a game right here in Steinbach. So kudos to all the Pistons fans who came out to support, for sure.
Absolutely. And I think the Pistons really pulled it to a new level this year of community involvement. Getting in the schools. When we're doing charity events, like we did Community Christmas Charity Challenge, Pistons were all over that. Southeast Helping Hands, they're helping with that too.
And I got the opportunity to join some of the Pistons on assemblies into schools.
Yeah.
And you could see how nervous they were because these kids would be filing nonstop into the gym. And I remember the first one, Paul said, these kids thought, I thought we were reading in front of classrooms. And Paul's like, no, we're doing it in front of assembly. And the kids are like, well, how many kids are there in these elementary schools? Sure enough, you know how packed some of these schools are in southeastern Manitoba. And they had a blast. We do some Q&A, so the kids would get to ask some questions. And it was always funny because one of the questions one of the kids asked was, what's your favorite book? And many of the Pistons, you could see they're like, book.
Quick.
Magic School Bus? It was lots of fun. It was great to see them in that atmosphere, and I think it really helped in building the attendance this year as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those kids came out, a lot of them looked up to the guys, a lot of them wanted to get their autographs, and I think that was huge. Good job by the marketing and good job by the Pistons in general.
And one of the very familiar sights and sounds when you walk into the Steinbach Arena for a Steinbach Pistons games, Gilbert Fair or Gibbs, as we all know him, selling you a 50-50 ticket. Now that changed the numbers of the Pistons.
Oh, most definitely. And speaking of Gibbs and numbers, he's got that customized Piston jersey he's always wearing. He's got the 2 zeros and Gibbs on the back now, so it really feels like he's a part of the team. But yeah, winnings this year, 50-50 tickets, $4,700. That's just the winning. So, of course, you double that. That's how much actual money was exchanged with 50-50 tickets, almost $10,000.
So he sold that amount, and half of that went to the Pistons. So he raised $4,768 for the Steinbeck Pistons.
Yeah, if you know anything about him, he's a great salesman, and obviously the numbers prove that.
And he loves to sing the national anthem.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be the same without Gibbs at the hockey games. I don't know if the national anthem, even if he's not on the ice, you can hear him throughout the whole entire rink. And the national anthem's playing, and everyone's like, where's that singing coming from? Everyone's looking around. Sure enough, you can see Gibbs in the corner just belting it out as loud as he can. And I'd say one of the coolest experiences this year was seeing Gibbs at the MTS Center. His dream was to always sing the national anthem at the MTS Center on the big speakers, on the big stage. And while we were broadcasting our game there against the Saints in January, Gibbs was asked to sing the anthem.
Wow.
And he was just overjoyed. Remember before, he was so nervous, like, Kevin, should I wear my Pistons jersey? Should I not wear my Pistons jersey? Yeah, what do I do? What do I do? It's coming up. He did a fantastic job, and he was so proud of himself.
He deserves it.
Yeah, that was really the icing on the cake for the game the Pistons played at the MTS Center. That was a highlight of the year as well. They actually got to play in a pro arena like that. Great dressing room, just a great atmosphere, and then Gibbs singing the national anthem makes you feel like you're at home. So
that's awesome, guys. Thanks for joining me. The Pistons by the Numbers. This is an awesome story on SteinbeckOnline.com.